But then people come up to me and say, I want to speak with passion. I want to be as passionate as I can with the customer. Okay, we talk about some of that. But how do we do that? How do we bring the appropriate amount of energy to our talks, to our communications, in our government briefings, in our orals competitions? Reminds me of a story, and those people that work with me know that everything reminds me of a story. It's kind of how I like to communicate. A while back, I was working with a client, and we were on a film stage. So I was working with buddies and colleagues, and this particular actor, we were trying to get his energy level up. And he needed to be delivering a piece, and we were actually, imagine this, talking about communicating and orals and all of these other things. But the performances we were getting out of him, they just, my colleague Cliff and I, we kept kind of conferring, it's not what we need. We need better energy. So as a lot of these things normally work out, between takes, I started to talk to this particular person. We'll call him Bob for our purposes today. And I said, Bob, you do a lot of acting. Yeah, I do a lot of acting. He did stunts and all of these different things. And he started to share with us. He said, you realize that you can make explosives out of a lot of things that you might have natural organic materials. I said, well, I've kind of heard of that. And I'm getting concerned now that the FBI or Homeland Security or somebody's going to come into the studio set. But as Bob started to share some of the things that they would do in the stunts and how they would make these massive explosions, and they would fill these 55-gallon drums with, and I don't even want to get into what they were filling them with, but they would fill them, and he would talk about these huge explosions and the giant fireballs. And all of a sudden, Cliff and I are looking at each other saying, that's the energy we need out of Bob. So we talked to him, and we said, Bob, the way you're sharing this story right now, that's how you need to present the actual piece we're working with on today. That's how you need to do it. He says, what? I don't understand what you mean. He says, look, your natural passion, your enthusiasm for the topic is coming across. So a few quick takeaways on this. One, if we want to be more passionate, we've got to make sure that our content is really crisp, that it's prioritized, that it's interesting. But secondly, if we want to make sure that we have the right energy, find what motivates you. Now, a great tip is capture yourself on video. We do this a lot of times with clients. We'll actually capture them when they're talking about a vacation or a work experience that was great, and they see themselves, and they see when they were being stoic and presenting versus when they were loose and natural. And all of a sudden, the energy is just right. So again, a few takeaways there. Get that content right, but for energy, find some things that you believe you're interested in and have yourself recorded. You'll see the difference. And as you record yourself, there's two great things that come out of that. One is if you're competing or going to be doing an orals competition or briefing a government customer, it's an immersion experience. The material that you're trying to communicate, you're hearing it back. It's a great way to absorb it. But secondly, you'll be able to develop a mental track of the performance where you knew, that was interesting. I looked passionate. I looked engaged. A few things to think about.